So good evening. So I won't take much time before this symposium and dinner. So thanks Intas and thanks 45th Icon. So in next 20-25 minutes, so we'll talk on fixed dose combination of capecitabine and cyclophosphamide for treatment of MBC. So we talk about drugs, we talk about combination of drugs. But what happened when we talked about the fixed drug combination? So a few years back, you may be aware there's fixed drug combinations from the DCGI. So they were banned, and there are many combinations across many fraternity where had to stop manufacturing those. So fixed drug combinations are two separate drugs combined into a single dose. So if you see the portfolio of FDCs, so oncology stands nowhere. So probably CNS, endocrine, infectious may be followed by cardiology. So where you see these fixed drug combinations. So if you talk about medical treatment in oncology, so oral drugs in the past, it was few. But at this point of time in 2021, so there is a plethora of oral drugs across all cancers today. So do you all believe that oral chemotherapy? So there's a difference between a metronomic chemotherapy and we are talking about fixed drug combination chemotherapy. So all these are a bit different. So a cancer, everybody of us knows that today is a chronic disease and it should be treated as such. So there need to be a change of strategy in the war on cancer. So what are your patients' perceptions? So oral therapy, they prefer it, but on the same ground, so they also think that does it work? Vis-a-vis once you are talking about a parenteral therapy. And today we know that many oral drugs, especially in the portfolio of lung cancer, you talk about afatinib, we talk about osimertinib, so mammoth cost. So will it be covered under insurance? So what is your perception? So as a physician, as an oncologist, so 4E, so is it effective? Do you have an evidence? Or is it only an eminence based or you practice on the expertise? So oral chemotherapy, those are available in a metastatic breast cancer setting, is cyclophosphamide, methotrexate, capecitabine, and we have been using, and we know that our own teacher Banawali sir is a promoter of metronomic therapy and it has worked across many subsets. So there is another drug which is not available to us is a vinorelbine, oral vinorelbine. So coming to capecitabine monotherapy, looking at its efficacy and tolerability. So there were n number of studies, and if you see the disease control rate, the CR, the PR, and the stable disease with a single agent capecitabine ranges from something around 30 to 67%. But we know that the standard dose of capecitabine, everybody of us sitting here, so may not be practicing in more than 10 or 20%, because so this drug comes with so much of toxicity from, if you see this, the whole pyramid. So it can be an hematological toxicity and non-hematological toxicities. So if you talk about capecitabine, the takeaways are, so even after so many years of practice, so what is the dose? Whether a standard dose or metronomic dose, or many a times we give a flat and a fixed dose. Coming to tolerability of this drug, though looks handy, but the hematological toxicity and non-hematological toxicity, and everybody of us has faced this. Coming to schedule, so whether uninterrupted, 2 weeks on, 1 week on, many a times for those patients who are on long standing, so many a times we give 1:1, or there are schedules which were available, it's a continuous in a triple negative setting after the systemic therapies and the local therapies are over and presented in last year ASCO 2020. So partnering this drug. So either you are using this drug alone or in combination. So combination can be an oral partner or an injectable partner. So why capecitabine is preferred as a partner? Because a single agent activity, unique safety profile, so hardly any alopecia, low incidence of myelosuppression, but at times we see a lymphopenia, neutropenia. The available drugs like the taxanes, Paclitaxel, Dosi, cyclophosphamide. So with thiamidylate phosphate phosphorylase activation and data on efficacy with combined use of drugs, including capecitabine. So when combination drugs, so worth noting. So what are those that goes into the process? So direct effects on cancer cells, anti-angiogenic effects, immune mediated effects, and probably something on the horizon is an endocrine effect with combining these drugs in a metronomic schedule. So how does it act? So we talk of intestine, and then liver, and the ultimate tissue is either a tumor or the healthy tissue. So once we take capecitabine, that goes through the stomach, ultimately liver. So capecitabine gets converted into 5-DFCR followed by a 5-DFUR, and in the tumor tissue, so 5-DFUR needs actually TP to get into the active 5-FU. And here, this drug cyclophosphamide, besides its cytotoxic effect, it synergizes by upregulation of thymidine phosphorylase. So the rationale for combination is that the capecitabine exerts anti-angiogenesis activity and cyclophosphamide upregulates intratumoral thymidine phosphorylase. The combination shows a promising tolerability and activity, and it looks an attractive all-oral alternative. So coming to combination of capecitabine and cyclophosphamide across all studies. So this is one phase 1 studies which showed that capecitabine of 829 milligram per meter square given twice daily with the cyclophosphamide of 33 milligram per meter square, again twice daily from day 1 to 14, 7 days off, is feasible, active, and extremely well tolerated. So coming to a phase 2 data, the difference in tumor response suggests a reasonable chance that this drug can be combined while not giving a capecitabine alone. If you see the disease control rate of capecitabine, 57% versus 67% when you combine both these drugs. So now coming to a phase 2 where a flat dosing of this drug. So it showed a PFS, OS, and response rate advantage when combining both these drugs. So flat dosing concept came from this phase 2 data, was from the SOG S0430. So another phase 2, that combination was effective with acceptable toxicity. If you see, so the non-hematological toxicities were mild. So we fear giving capecitabine and a standard dose, fearing an hematologic and non-hematologic toxicity. So you are combining this drug, but to your surprise, the toxicities are minimum. Coming to a metronomic combination of these drugs is effective, convenient, and well tolerated. And you can see a metronomic dosing of 828 milligram per meter square and cyclophosphamide 33 were combined, showing a response of 44%. And in this phase 2, it showed that patients who were luminal A and triple negative MBC, they had the advantage of this combination. So the rational combination shows a promising tolerability and activity. So definitely this combination is an all oral alternative, less pill burden. So according to one of the studies, so there were 14 questionnaires and that showed none of these patients want a pill burden beyond 8. So 6 to 8 burden, 6 to 8. And we know that country like us where hypertension, diabetes are so common in patients of above 50, so the pill burden becomes an important thing. So giving patients more freedom and balance in terms of both efficacy and safety. So existing data and the challenges. So no randomized controlled trial of these combinations. So no PK data analysis. No confirmation that both of these drugs actually causes synergism. Doses used were not metronomic, and definitely it was not an approved FDC. So no systematic drug development intent till what we hear now. So the research was funded from the INTAS. So it was a phase 2/phase 3, a prospective, adaptive, randomized, open label, multicentric clinical trial to assess the efficacy and safety of this FDC of capecitabine and cyclophosphamide in patients of MBC who have failed on anthracyclines and taxanes chemotherapy. So here all comers, so be it a triple negative, be it a hormone positive, be it a HER2 positive, so that did not matter. So I was one of the investigators, and you can see many private and many government institutes, including Dr. Sudhir Gupta was the PI of this trial. So this FDC was patented by INTAS. So we'll see in the subsequent slides. So one strength comes as a capecitabine of a 700 with cyclophosphamide of 30. The other strength that is available is 420. So there were 3 dose levels. So dose level 1, 2, and 3. If you see the morning dose and evening dose, the dose level 1, which was the lowest. So 1 tablet of 700 morning and evening. So coming to dose level 2, where you see morning you have the 701, 401, and in the evening the 701. And the third dose was the highest dose level. So 2 tablets of both the strains morning and evening. So DCGI gave permission way back in August 2014, and these were 3 dose levels, 1:1:1 randomization. So the inclusion criteria, so age, so all females more than 18 to 65, proven breast cancers, patients of MBC who have been treated with anthracyclines and taxanes chemotherapy, at least 1 measurable on a RECIST. So previous chemotherapy or radiotherapy at least 4 weeks before they were entered into the trial. So the key exclusion, if somebody is a hormone sensitive, responding to hormones, so we won't take those patients. Patients who have received more than 1 line of systemic therapy in terms of chemotherapy in a metastatic setting, and definitely CNS disease, active or even asymptomatic disease were not taken, and prior taxanes causing a significant motor or sensory neuropathy were also not included. So the primary endpoint was to look at the overall response rate. So that was a CR and PR. Secondary endpoint was a disease control, that was CR, PR, and stable disease. And definitely the other secondary endpoint was a safety, because this FDC was a new thing on the horizon. So adverse event reported and any clinical significant change in the laboratory parameters. So this was the patient disposition. On the upper half, you can see the part 1. So 1:1:1 in all the 3 groups. So 22 patients in each. And you'll see there were withdrawals in a significant number of patients. So either, everybody of us who does clinical trial, we have seen in this pandemic, so there were withdrawals and there were patients who have lost to follow-up. So this was significant in the pandemic for all those who are into the clinical trials. So after these 66 patients, we had an overall evaluation, and we found that the group 1 of the lowest dose, that is 1400, so these patients are not responding. So we moved to the second stage of the trial, where we discontinued the group 1 and we moved with group 2 and group 3, adding 50 patients more in each. So if you see the lower part of the chart, you will see, so 72 patients, so intent to treat and safety were for 72 in each group, but the intent to treat analysis was 54 and 58, and since major protocol violation in few patients, so per patient was 47 and 48. So you see the demographic data. So the median age was less than 50, because in practice we see these are usually patients of triple negative patients. So if we probably analyze that, so many more patients in this trial were triple negative patients, and we know this is usually in a premenopausal patients. And so that may be one of the reasons that the median age was less than 50. Second, if you look at the BSA, so it was 1.5, and we know that Indian BSA's usually average median is 1.5 to 1.6, which is not true if you go to the many more countries where more obese. So we don't know that. So this fixed drug combination in the BSA of 2 or more will have the same result. And more than 2/3 of the patients had a performance status of 1. So coming to the results of intent to treat populations, you can see a PR of around 20 to 30%, best overall response rate hovering around 30%. So second group was doing better than the third one, maybe because of the toxicity, patient discontinued. And the most important thing, the disease control rate after 3 years, almost more than 80%, so touching 90%. And at the end of 6 cycles, that is around 4.5 months, so you can see around 60% patients are still holding on with the response. Coming to per patient population, so where few patients got deducted because of a protocol violation, even you can see a PR of around 30%, best overall rate of 30% plus, and a disease control rate at 3 cycles was around 90%, and more than 2/3 of the patients, so around 60% plus, so disease was stable or controlled at the end of 6 cycles. So what are the most common toxicities? So adding one drug to the other, so actually did not deteriorate the clinical condition of the patients in terms of toxicity. If you talk about more than 5% of the adverse events, even the anemia, leukopenia was not much in the group, even 2 and 3, though 3 had on a higher side. And the most common toxicity what we face with a standard dose of capecitabine or even at the 1000 milligram per meter square is a diarrhea, hand-foot syndrome, asthenia, and nausea, vomiting. And if you see these facts and figures here, so nothing more than 15 or 20% in, and that too all were not a grade 3 or grade 4. So the toxicity profile was astonishingly, surprisingly so good. So comparison with the published historical data. So if you see this study, so the present dose 2 and dose 3, so the response rate was less than the published one, but the disease control rate was markedly high. And if you look at the toxicity profile, especially hand-foot syndrome and neutropenia, was much more less, and also diarrhea was much more less with this FDC combination. So toxicity was less, and our disease control rate, that was CR, PR, and stable disease, was much more higher than the published data. Those were presented here. So high rate of DCR, the disease control rate, and better tolerative profile compared to historical data with similar combination. So you can see, so even the raised enzymes or the hepatic enzymes were not much seen in this study as compared to those of Yasumoto and Wang et al. Trial. So highlighted are neutropenia and hand-foot syndrome were markedly less, so which we as a physicians fear on these patients who are on a long-term capecitabine therapy. So coming to tablet in tablet FDC, so number 1, the challenges were circumvented by the whole research team at Intas. So incompatibility between the 2 molecules, chances of impurity generation. The important was the particle size and the difference in release of this drug. The second was a patented technology of Intas for this unique FDC. So one was the size that matters and the process of tablet in tablet. So you can see this cartoon here. So how cyclophosphamide is impregnated into the capecitabine, and so this is how, so once you break the tablet in real life, you'll see this. So 1 + 1 is 2. So 1 + 1 can be more than 2. So 2 or 2 5. So the FDC, you can see the original size of a capecitabine So since we are talking of the Intas, we have seen the CAPC, and you can see the combination tablets are not much bigger than what we see a single capecitabine tablet. So the world's most successful couple like Aloo and Pyaj. So think small, small is beautiful, and small can do wonders. So metronomic, which is a upcoming thing for last 5 years, and know that even the TMH group and many others have already established this in many cancers, especially head and neck cancers. Slow and steady wins the race. It does not matter how slowly you go, as long as you do not stop. So the capecitabine and cyclophosphamide journey, so Intas was not the first. Even Sanofi companies like Sanofi has put their hands on, but they ultimately could not make it. So the journey from 2007 and till 2021 in the peak of pandemic, so they got this drug launch in April 2021. So this was the DCGI approval for preparing the FDC, and there were 2 patents, US patents for one of the size of the drug, and the other was a process of this combination. So the new kid on the block is COMCAPC, which has been launched in April, so around 6 months now. So this is said to be, we should be proud that an Indian house has been the world's first fixed drug combination in the oncology fraternity. So to conclude, so this combination, a synergistic anti-tumor activity, established efficacy, balance, all oral alternative and convenience. So I made the eponym as COMCAPC. C stands for capecitabine, O for oral drug, M for MBC, C for cyclophosphamide, A for anti-tumor clinical effects, patents, the particle size and tablet in tablet, S is a synergistic effect. Yes, so you heard it right, 2 is equal to 1. So to me, there are many versatile actors of this Bollywood. So we have seen that in this pandemic, we have lost 2 gentlemen from this picture, but so they can probably do so whatever a producer or a director want. So the chemotherapy innovation, so I don't know, so probably after eribulin, we don't have any chemotherapy or a cytotoxic drug in the horizon. So are cytotoxic going into a dinosaur era? So old wine in new bottle. So we talk about beautiful old songs, and today, so those songs are reinterpreted. So it's time that you can't put the new wines in the old bottle. So that's the reason. So drug industry, some astonishing facts. So out of 15,000 substance, one drug get discovered, approximately in billions for the development of one drug. And it takes more than a decade to get this drug into the hands of a physician. So this is the real world data from the Intas core group. And so Intas people are here. So since as of now, in last 6 months, more than 150 oncologists, most of them are medical oncologists who have used the drug in more than 1,000 patients, prescriptions. So we should prospectively collect this data because the original trial have some lacunae, like we don't have proper how many were ERPR positive, how many were triple negative and HER2. So there are certain things. So probably if we can collate this data, at least so on a retrospective or a prospective, so probably it will be good for the coming years, and probably it can be a big market outside India. So who are those patients we collected? So failed multiple line MBCs. So TNBC patients were more than the hormone receptors, because by this time CDK4/6 have come. There are many patients who could afford or into the clinical trial. So they have got into those modality and HER2 positive. Poor venous access. Many patients not keen for multiple lines of parenteral chemotherapy, not affording for novel treatments like CDK4/6 or a PIK3 mutated drugs. So manageable toxicity was the factor that came the most importance, and that was from the horse's mouth, that is from the physicians. People have used beyond MBCs. So if you can go back, so people have used across many GI cancers, replacing capecitabine, but although that is not labeled as per DCGI. So what is to a surprise that many of my colleagues or our colleagues have used the dose level 1. So this is metronomic ka metronomic. So don't use that dose level 1, because we have shown that 66 patients in 22 in the dose 1 have no response. So ultimately, if you are trying to use the suboptimal dose, so some other day, so much of innovations actually go into waste. So you try with a dose level 2 or a dose level 3. So that is what is recommended. People have used this combination with other combination of drugs. So again, so that is not advocated. So that's my take. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for staying till late. Stay safe and take care. Thank you so much.